Hello everyone and welcome back to Relaxed Coders. Thank you guys for the enormous support that I've been getting on the channel. If you're new, please subscribe, turn on your notifications so you guys can know when we make a new upload. Today we're going to be creating a little game. It's going to be built based off of our last project, which was the dice rolling simulator. So to get straight into it, actually, the name of the game is called Guess the Number. So basically what it is the computer or the script will generate a number within a specific range, and then the player has a specific number of tries to try and guess that number. If you guess too low, it'll tell you that you need to go higher. If you guess too high, it'll tell you that you need to go lower till you get the correct number, basically. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so this is the dice rolling simulator that we created in our last video, and we're going to be using a lot of the concepts from this. So I'm just going to hit Ctrl N and create a new script. I'm going to save this into our projects folder. We're going to create a new folder for Guess the Number. And we're gonna call this script Guess the Number. There we go. Alright, so first things first, the computer needs to generate a random number within a specific range. To make this game pretty easy, we're just going to use the range from 0 to 10. So first we're going to import random, and then we're gonna generate a number, right? So we're gonna say number equals random dot rand int from, let's do 1 to 10. Yeah, 1 to 10. So now the computer is gonna generate that number, save it in number. Now what we need to do is we need to instantiate the number of tries that the player has. So we're going to give the player 5 tries. How about that? So we're going to call this tries equals 5. Now we need to allow the players to be able to guess this. So the number is generated. We have 5 tries. Now we need to create a loop that will go over each of those 5 tries, and each of those tries you would guess, and the computer would check if you're correct or not. So we're going to create a loop. So we're going to say while tries is greater than 0. So every time you make a try and it's incorrect, tries get subtracted. So we need to make sure that you have more tries left, which is why the condition is tries greater than 0. So within each try, we're going to ask you to guess a number, right? So we're going to say your guess will be equal to input. This is how we're going to collect input from the user, right? And then we're going to display a little message to tell you what you need to do. So we're going to say try to guess the number. And then you enter a number, and then it would be saved into the guess variable, this one right here. Now we're gonna have to check. We're gonna say if guess is equal to, now that's the thing in Python, to check if something is equal to something else, you have to use double equals, not single. So just make note of that. So if guess was equal to the generated number, then we would display a message saying congrats, you guessed the number. I can't spell. You guessed the number. Else, so this is basically going to work like this. If this condition, if this statement is true, this part of the code will be executed. If it's not, whatever is under the else will be executed. else we're gonna say, now this is where it's gonna get more complicated. Not necessarily that it means that it's complicated, but what we're gonna have to do here is we're gonna have to check. Here basically means that the guess is incorrect. Now we're gonna need to know whether you guessed the number higher or you guessed the number lower. So we're gonna say underneath the else, if your guess is greater than number, right? Then we're gonna display a message. Can't spell. Gonna display a message saying, try something lower. All right. Then we're gonna say else here as well. So if your guess is not greater than the number, that means it's definitely lower, right? So we're gonna say print try something higher, right? All right, so to clean this up, I think so. If you guess correct, we're gonna come back to this. If you guess correct and it says congrats, you guessed the number, we're gonna come under here and we're gonna say break. What this will do is that it'll break out of this loop regardless of whether you have more tries or not, because if you won the game, it doesn't matter how many tries you have left, it'll break out of this entire loop and the code will kill itself, right? Then we're gonna need to check. So if you guessed it incorrect, which would be this else part right here, we're going to have to count it as a try that you missed. So we're gonna say tries minus equal 1. So yeah, minus equal. So every time you guess it incorrect, you're gonna lose a try, basically. And now we're gonna need to let the player know how many tries he or she has left. So we're gonna say print you have, we're gonna come out, hit a plus sign to add in that variable. You have tries plus it'll make sense when we actually run the code. All right. Another thing to make note of, when you collect an input from a user, it by default comes in as a string. A string is basically like words or like letters. So even if it's a number that the user inputs, it's going to still be recognized as a word. Even if it's 10, it's going to come in as a word 10, and you can't really do any numeric operations with that. You need to convert it into an integer. So we're gonna say int, and then we're going to encapsulate this entire statement. So whatever input comes in here will be converted into an integer here, saved in guess. Then we check if it's equal to the generated number, and you know the rest. So now we're gonna run this, see if it works. All right, try to guess the number. I'm going to say safe number 5, right in the middle. Congrats, wow, first try we got the number. We're gonna try this again. Guess the number. I'm gonna try 5 again. Okay, so whenever you see this red error message, comes up so many times, don't panic. It's just an error. It means that we did something wrong in our code, which is fine. So it says down here at the error, can only concatenate string, not integer, and the error occurred in line 15. No, this is line 15, right? Which is obvious, right? Because tries is a number, is an integer, and then here we tried to use the plus sign. We tried to add a string with an integer, so we generated this error. Quick fix, we have to turn the tries, this variable here, into a string so that the plus will work, because we can't turn the string into an integer, so instead we turn the integer into a string. So here I'm just going to hit the str, which will convert whatever is within its brackets into a string, and that should fix the error, right? We'll run this again. Try to guess the number. Start easy, 5. So try something higher. You have 4 tries left. Try something higher. Let's say 7. Try something higher. Okay, 9. Try something higher. It's 10, isn't it? Yep, congrats. So we generated a number from 1 to 10, ended up generating 10. That's basically the game. You can clean this up, make it do whatever else. You can change the statements, change whatever it says. You can add in another statement to print a message when you run out of tries or whatever. You can basically do whatever you want with this. So thank you guys for joining me at Relaxed Coders. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next episode of Relaxed Coders.